Welcome to Free Advice Guy. Yo, Samuel. Tell me more. What does that mean after you go back to work? All right. I think I got all the chats up. You're on my pay. Get back to work. I am not on your pay. And I am working. Although I gotta be honest, Free Advice Guy is a dream. It doesn't really feel like work. Heyo. Hey, maybe we could, but I don't think there is a beard corporation. How was your weekend? I know it's Tuesday, but how was your weekend? Yo, what's up, big homie? Did you get a chance to watch your video yet? Uh, I know some things about real estate. If I don't know, I will tell you, but I'll give you my insights. Emu? Why would it be Emu Beard Factory? Hello there. That's how I feel every time I watch a video, big homie. Every time I watch a video, that is exactly what I feel like. I'm like, ah. I do not like watching myself back, even though it's good. It helps me get better. I'm trying to say things more efficiently and have more impact. Say more with less. That's what I'm trying to get to. Hey Samuel, thank you for the YouTube sub. Nah, we got to stop with these types of comments here, man. I don't like the generalizations. There's joking, and then I don't know. You know what I mean? Let's lighten it up. Aw, all right. Thank you, sir. Yo, what's up, Brian? Welcome to the Instagram. We're streaming everywhere right now. We're trying out Instagram. I have no idea if this format is the best. Suhas, yes. You were here on, was that Saturday? I believe it was. Yep, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, it was Saturday. If I remember correctly, and I'm not great with details a lot of the time, but you got off shortly before I got off. Is that correct, Suhas? Oh, man. All right, so what did everybody do this weekend? Did any questions pop up? Man, you know, I thought about that, and I wish I would have handled that interaction differently. Just at the end. Just at the end. I wish I would have kept answering his questions. I was spending a lot of the time in the stream acknowledging his toxicity. You can't ask me anything. I am scared for this question, but you can. So, as a beginner, should I invest in stocks or SIP? Why do you, excuse me, why do you have to make the distinction? Why do you have to choose between one or another when it comes to investing. But wouldn't you use it to invest in stocks or at least mutual funds? You think gold, silver, and land will give the highest returns in 20 years? Okay, well then let me take a step back, Millen. Uh, a systematic investment plan is essentially just an automatic investment plan. So depending on how your brokerage house works, if you want to invest in stocks, and we can get into whether you should or not, let's talk about that in a second. But I just want to talk about the difference and why these matter. But a SIP is this the automatic way you'll send money from your bank to your account to invest. If you are investing in stocks or ETFs, you would then have to place a trade to buy them. A lot of places will let you invest automatically into mutual funds. So let's see here. They are the assets. Paper money is starting to become useless without gold. I mean, useless is probably not the right word. It's still the reserve currency. There's still a lot of value in the dollar for those types of reasons. But I hear what you're saying. Ooh. I mean, that's impossible to know. Somebody told me that they were working on the ability to make gold in a lab. It'll still have use value even if that's the case, but I don't know if that's true either. But if you're asking me for a guess, 20 years from now, buy 100,000 worth of gold, 100,000 worth of silver, and 100,000 worth of land, and what would be up? It also depends on location. Yeah, there we go. So many things can happen in 20 years. Okay, we can look at the positives here, wannabe, in that you have no debt at 18 years old and you have some depreciating assets. That's not the worst place to be at 18 years old. You mean like living off the land eclipse? Yo, what's up, Yuli? Hey, can we play zombies? If I game... Oh, wait, I can't game tonight. Never mind, I take it all back, Yuli. I will make this plea tomorrow. In the jungle. Listen, I get the pull to want to live off the land. That's kind of cool. That'd be awesome to do. If it's the right circumstance, Millen, I would do either. Yeah, let's go, Yuli. All right, zombies tomorrow night. Or maybe I do a gaming stream tomorrow. Zombies during the day. So anyway, all right, Millen. This all comes down to you and your each thing. So if you're asking me personally, it all depends on even that situation. I would prefer in the long term to own the home I'm in. In the short term, I would rent. When we lived in Texas, we rented. Released the Epstein files. I have no problem with that. I had student debt and Beyblades and acne when I was 18, so you're doing pretty good, I'd say. Yes. Yes. I agree. No debt and depreciating assets are a much better place to be in than a lot of kids. Who is Epstein? I never understand it. I'm not going to pretend to understand the full extent of Epstein either. Making about 8,000 a month, gonna buy a house in probably hopefully half a year. Okay, what sort of down payment do you have saved up, wannabe? How much is your home price that you're looking at? What sort of loan are you qualified for? What is your down payment? How long are you gonna live there? Epstein is the older version of Diddy. Maybe. I think the allegations are wild, but I'm not going to go over those either. It's interesting. The Dow is up, S&P's kind of flat. That's interesting. You've been following the tariff rebates. If SCOTUS rules accordingly, broad strokes, I think there's money to be made there, even in retail. Just not sure how exactly. Well, I mean, if it goes like it did during the stimulus, people put money in the market, so there was a push up in the market. There will also be the anticipation of money flowing into the market, the efficient market hypothesis. So yes, I've been following it. Relationships. What is that, Donald Duck? House is going to be about 160 grand, probably 30 to 40 down. All right. You have to put at least 32 down to avoid PMI. And then what will your mortgage payment be? Right, it sounds like it won't be very high. Your mortgage won't be very big. Sometimes my feed becomes corrupt and shows that devil or satanic cult or one particular religion is controlling the world. Man, this is like your life is like out of a movie, Eclipse. I have not watched Breaking Bad. I have seen clips from Breaking Bad. I tried to create a spreadsheet and my mind messed up. That sounds wild. Hello, brother. Any advice for the people in their late 20s? Do not do. Cheers and thank you. All right. Number one is a budget and quit wasting money. There's going to be a lot of arguments. I'm not going to get into that argument about what is wasting money. No, I have to have this one place I go to. I have to do this one thing I do. So, anyway, do a budget, down to the dollar, quit wasting money. That's number one. Number two, get your expenses as low as possible. Can you live with family? Can you live with 8 friends? Yeah, it's not going to be fun for a while. You might even say it sucks. But if you do that, keep your expenses low. As you start making more money, save as much money as you can, invest. And then when the time is right, you become the homeowner. If you want to rent out rooms, you can. Stuff like that. So that's honestly what I would start with as a young man if I were to go back to that time right now, or that age. What is BB, man? Wazza! Man, Zero, you're not old enough to know what that is. Mortgage insurance. Want to be they put mortgage insurance on your into your mortgage payment if you don't put at least 20% down. Assuming you're in America. You might not be in America. If you're not, then what I'm saying might not apply to you. You must watch Breaking Bad. If you had already, you would be a chemist expert instead of a financial expert. No, I don't think so. This has a much more positive impact. Yo, what's up, Soft? All right, get mentally prepared, Soft. Tomorrow, zombies. Tomorrow night, zombies. You as Punisher. All right. So, why Walter White is coming into my mind. How to do budgeting without it getting all boring and spreadsheety. I mean, you could do apps. I know there are apps out there. I don't have any, or I don't use any, so I can't endorse any. But I'm sure there are apps out there that make it fun. I don't really know, though, you know? Thank you. I appreciate it. I live alone, but I'll quit booze. It's not fun anymore. I'll make sure to invest in stocks. No, that's not what I'm saying. You don't necessarily, you might not be the type of person to invest in stocks. You have to understand your risk tolerance and all that. But you should definitely go through the 5 steps of financial success. And investing in stocks wouldn't be until step 4 after you go through the first 3 steps. Freedom is coming. Oil had been found in another country. Oh, okay. Where was oil found, Eclipse? I'm in Canada, so not sure. All right. You might not have that then, wannabe. That's what we have in America. If you don't put at least 20% down, you get PMI. I forgot what the P stands for. Principal? Mortgage insurance. You would have to go search the internet, Iman. I am not a biologist. My bad, bro. My bad. Sometimes I think personal budgeting is for weak-minded people who have no control over their spending. I may be wrong, what you say. I do think that's wrong, but I do understand where you're coming from. I think everyone, from the most disciplined, least disciplined, poor to rich, should do it at least once. Because it's more of an awareness thing, right? Now, I do think you can absolutely master your finances and you're no longer keeping track of your budget because of the way your finances are set up, right? If all your stuff is on automatic, all your saving is happening, it's not affecting it, and you have money going to, we'll just call it a slush fund, and you can just spend whatever you want, yeah, then that's a completely different story, you know? Is that enough of an answer, Suhas? I can go deeper. 12 months of basic living expenses, 20% down payment is a lot, huh? Yes. Yes, it is, big homie. Yes. Let's go, Soft. I apologize for having you do Blade. We also should not have, we should have ran from the beginning with you. We should have eliminated all of our points and started from basics with you with no advantages. Oh man, Eclipse deleted his message. Sorry, retracted his message. It can feel daunting, big homie, but we can talk about that too as well. My friend is always asking me money, small amount in dollars would be 1 or 2, but still it's a pain for me. Yeah, you got to set a boundary, Eclipse. Don't just give money to people. It doesn't work for you. Or get them to work for you. Hey, if you want this money, I need you to go and get me groceries. Go and pick up my groceries. When you come back, I'll give you $1 or 2. Make him work for you, dog. He'll quit asking you for money real quick. Or he'll do the things you don't want to do for $1 or $2. I've never run a budget. That's how most people are wannabe. I didn't realize when I started this thing that I was going to be a free budget guy. But it literally is the most important thing for everybody to do. At least once. I don't care how rich or poor you are. It's eye-opening. According to me, the best budgeting before budgeting is to identify priorities, needs. Yeah, for sure. But the first time, Suha, It's more understanding how you had X amount come in. Now you have, $300 left over, and you're looking at it like, yeah, you sort of know mentally where that money went, but you don't really unless you do a budget. It makes you look at every expense you're doing and analyze it. You have to look at it. You have to, right? Like, I can't believe I'm spending $150 on Valorant skins. That could be going to this other goal that I'm not where I want to be at. That is really the purpose. Don't know they can't save money. When I was in my good time, I saved $15K, 169, and my cousin heard they were shocked. All right. Floor de Seb, welcome to the Instagram. We're live everywhere right now. All right, but soft. With zombies, yeah. We should have just gone back to the beginning. We all played our character as noobs, so you could have gotten a feel for it. And then we get to the end game. You got to the end game on a character you know nothing about way too fast. As Punisher, I think you'll have fun with his upgrades. All right, now hold on. With all that said, Suhas, I do think there comes a point where you stop, or where a lot of people stop and it's okay. And what you said is absolutely correct, right? But at least once in somebody's life, they should do it. I just check my bank account often. That's not a way to live, wannabe. That's not a way to live. What do you think? Should government control our money? I do think that is one of their sole purposes. You know what? We're about to get into a much deeper conversation than I think I'm ready for, Eclipse. I don't want to go into this conversation. But otherwise, you're talking about a barter and or, gold or whatever people want to accept as currency. Makes it hard to do business everywhere. It would affect commerce. All right, let's check this out real quick. All right, the biggest movers in the U.S. stock market so far today. Engine Holdings up over 50%, 50.25. Surmodics Inc. up 49%. Pubmatic up 41, almost 42%. Real Inc. up 35%. And Lee Enterprises up 29%. I'm looking at Market Watch if anybody cares. That is insane. You only see that sort of stuff in the U.S. market. It's the only place you see something like this. And our decliners, Vor Biopharma down 47. Outset Medical down almost 46. Epsium Enterprise down 43. Soul Essence down 35. And High Tech Global down 33. That is crazy. Only in the U.S. markets. 52-week highs. Just hop back in, say something. You can be too rigid with budgeting. I think in your 20s you should invest in yourself, upskilling, culture, rather than in the capital markets. Well, that's not really a budget. You still should budget for that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? A budget is not supposed to be rigid. It's supposed to be eye-opening. It's supposed to let you know how you're actually spending your money. I recently started to read The Psychology of Money. The intent of the author is so evident. He wants to change our perception on money instead of just giving some vague financial tips. Okay. I mean, I dig that. That's sort of what we're doing here. Money is a tool. Money is a tool to get you things that you want. Ultimately, to do whatever you want. All right. Companies at 52-week highs. There's just 5 of them. Eli Lilly, American Express, HSBC Holdings, Shell, TJX. Yo, what's up, Prad? Yeah, I'm trying the Instagram stream today. It's a little weird, but it's kind of cool. Man, see, I'm worried. If you toss me a like, it's going to throw me up on your recommendeds all the time. You know what I mean? But it might help the algorithm. What is your best trait in your practice? What is your strongest side? When you say my practice, what do you mean? Do you mean my trading practices? Do you mean my practice as a financial advisor? What do you mean by that? You could write a book, though. I don't know that what I'm saying is new. I just think the way I'm doing it is different. I'm trying to meet people where they are, Suhas. You can't really help somebody with something they're not ready for until you help them out with the thing they are ready for. And a book doesn't really do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's a great lesson, but you need to put out the fire first, and then somebody's more receptive. Borchell, the best trait is a financial advisor. Patience, understanding, being able to explain things in a way that anybody can understand or that everybody can understand, even if that means I have to do it multiple times. That's what I'll say. Making complicated things seem easy. Nobody reads anymore, and with streams, you can give context-specific advice. Yes. It's very true. I think people still read. I just don't know that they're getting all of the benefits they could from it. That makes sense. But hey, even I read less. I read articles more so than I read books now. Right? Little quick. I'm not likely going to change my framework of thinking when it comes to finance. Yeah, let's go soft. I'm not necessarily going to change my frame of thinking when it comes to finance, but I might be able to tweak things here and there. I don't pretend to be perfect. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, I didn't even know what Bitcoin was. Now, if somebody wants to invest in it, we'd have a conversation about it, but I understand why. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. There's still people who read. I get what his point is, though. It's less people are reading actively because at least this is I'm maybe taking Nathan. Man, I gotta figure out. I'm just gonna call you man. Oh man, there's no budget. It's not an acronym. Begin is an acronym. Pretty much the FTE and Bloomberg Terminal News when I worked in finance, but yeah, articles mostly. Yeah. I don't know what I would put for budget, Yuli. The reason it's begin is because it's the acronym. That's the 5 steps to financial success. Yo, what's up, Watch Zones? What are the things that young people below 30 struggle the most when budgeting for retirement and savings overall? Discipline. 100% discipline. Yes, the budgeting spreadsheet is free on Patreon, Soft. So it's discipline, and really, I don't know how to word this. Nobody does a budget, so that's number one. But then it's discipline, right? Buying things because you want them, not because you need them. When that money could be doing other things for you, even if it's as simple as building an emergency fund. Right? I think you should have 12 months, but if you can't, 1 month is better than 0 months. 3 months is better than 1. 6 is better than 3. Right? Dude, watch Zone. I smile all the time, brother. I told you. That was just weird that day, man. You were asking me to smile. Come on now, bro. I don't even know you. You're asking me to smile. Get out of here. What do you think of that, Borchels? Yo, I need a drink. Let's get some more questions up in her. Be right back. Oh, grinding the wall. Hold up. There we go. Spinny chair. Chair stream. I also started the laundry. What's budgeting to you? You say it's to help understand the flow of personal finances. To me, it's a set of rules that prevent me from going out and doing a blow every night. A set of rules, a buzzkill. No, I like this. This is a really good question. I've probably never explained this fully, but a budget is just to open your eyes. You could spend your money how you want to spend your money, but unless you understand how you're spending your money, it doesn't, you can't be as effective with it. You can't have the relationship you need to have with it to make it work for you. That's really what a budget is for, to teach you your own relationship and to better your own relationship with money. If you still want to spend $200 on going out, you could do that, but you budget for it. Right now, you know, instead of just things, and it's also eye-opening because you realize you're spending money on things you don't care to be spending money on, or too much money spending. You know what I mean? Is there any segment in personal finance investments that young people are over budgeting? I think, this is a good question. I don't have any sort of insight to the masses, but from my experience so far doing this, it's cash. It's either too much cash, not enough investing, or too many people trying to get rich quick. They're two sides of a bad coin. Hey, thank you for liking the stream. I've never seen that before. Thank you for saying hi. Welcome. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm a free financial advisor. I'm a certified financial planner professional. I worked at Vanguard for over 13 years, and I quit my job to help millions of people achieve financial literacy. Let's go. Join the community. Let's change the world together. Hey, thanks for the sub. Hello, AB Dallas. Do you have Snap? I do not. I am too old for Snap. Or is that Abdallah's? I'm too old for Snap though. Wait, so should your cash be the emergency fund and anything you're saving for, or what? I should know this by now. I don't know if you mean physical money. Yes. All right. This is a great question, Yuli. Let's go through the actual steps here. Number one is your checking account. This is where all your bills come out of, or where you pay your credit card from. You need to set a zero balance, like $3,000 or whatever's comfortable for you. That's your zero. You never go below it. It's just the money that's not doing anything for you. It's just in your checking account because that could be, some people like low, 1,500. I like 3,000. That's number one. From there, when you get paid, the day before you get paid, if you have $3,300, you start investing that $300. All right, I guess before we get into investing, your emergency fund is there to fund when things go wrong. Right? Wait, so should your cash be the emergency fund? Yes, your cash should 100% be your emergency fund. Still young, not old. You're a great guy. Hey, thanks. We're trying to change the world. We're trying to change the world. If one really understands, implements, and executes budgeting, it feels so underrated tip to manage money. Correct. Now, I think you could do that without being so prescriptive in the future. What should one do for a retirement account if they do not have a 401k option with an employer? There are IRAs that you can do. You can also just make a taxable brokerage account in your name and invest in that for retirement. Just start saving. Make sure it's tax efficient in what your investments are, but you can do that. The most important thing isn't the account that you save in. It's the amount that you save. That's the most important thing. By using all this financial knowledge, how much have you saved? Ooh, my wife and I decided not to go over our full net worth. So how do I answer this? We have made it so without making any money, without anybody joining the mission, without anybody joining the Patreon, we can do this for years before ever having to stop. So that's what I'll say. Just out of curiosity, what's your main source of income? Patreon, Suhas. Patreon. Or it will be. I actually might get more from subscriptions on Twitch, but it's close. It's close. In the future, though, I hope to build a Patreon community. Because one thing about these big streams, there could literally be anybody in the world talking here or asking questions here, and my answers have to be sort of blanket answers. Whereas if it's in my private Patreon group, I'll be much more prescriptive and say things a little more boldly. Is there such a thing as having saved up too much money? Yes. Anything you've seen in the time as an advisor? Yeah, as an advisor manager. A lot of people, it's really funny, a lot of people sacrifice while they're working, which I love. Sacrifice and save for the future. But then they retire 65, 70 years old, and they have more money than they're ever going to spend. And they sacrificed during their lives. Now, I can make assumptions that they didn't do some things that they maybe would have had they known they had this pot of money at the end of their life. But that is what I would say is people end up with more money than they need to live the life they want to live, which means they could have been doing more things at a younger age with their money that maybe would have brought meaning and purpose at that point in time. Does the IRA have any sense if you already have a solo 401k established and you're maxing it out? Yeah, it's just another bucket. It's just another bucket of pure retirement savings with tax benefits, right? It's tax advantage, so dividends and things like that aren't taxed while it's in there. So it just gives you more buckets. how to super chat in this live stream. I don't know if you can yet. I don't think I'm monetized. I'm not monetized yet. I know that. Big love, man. I'll support you. Hey, I appreciate it. What if World War III happens to your equity portfolio? Just tanks. Yeah. So if World War III happens, this actually goes much bigger. When people talk about World War III, or some people who talk about investing in gold, they're talking. If you're talking the end of the world as we know it, your investments don't matter anymore. Your money doesn't matter anymore. I don't know how to, like, it might mean something when the system goes back up, but if the system goes down, it doesn't matter what you have in your investment portfolio. Often in life, it's hard to know if money spent will be worth it or not. Yep. When there's too many variables, uncertainty involved, how do you make spending decisions? Any framework you use? Does it bring me joy? Or does it make my life better and or easier in some way? I'll give you a very specific example. Sometimes I just want burger patties. And there are places that sell them for like $2 a pop, or In-N-Out Burger does a Flying Dutchman. That's worth it to me to spend the extra money because it saves me time and effort. It just gets to me, I eat it, I'm done. Right? So if it brings me joy or makes my life better or easier, then I'll generally do it, assuming I actually have the funds to do it. Oh boy. I'm going to go ahead and skip Alien. Yeah, if World War III happens, we must invest in our soul. It's very true. The vague cue, I suppose something like moving to a new city, starting a family, new job, new girl. I thought your question was great, actually. Yeah, I think if you understand your money and where it's going, you just start shifting resources to these things in the way that you can afford it. What year did you start investing? This isn't fair because my grandfather gave me 30 shares of stock when I was 10 years old. So if we go off of that, in the 90s. Me personally, actually caring and truly being into it, I was 20, we'll say 7. Drop by, left a like. I'm Allie, an AI tuned for live streams. Just observing how humanity prepares. The data's getting interesting. All right. That is something I've never seen before. So, oh man, I am so sorry, big homie. So you make the budget at the start of the month or keeping track of where your money is going during the month. All of it. So big homie, in the very beginning, like right now, you're writing down everything. You're not even necessarily categorizing. You're writing down everything. Then you can throw it into a spreadsheet so it'll total it up for you. But eventually you're going to categorize it so that you really understand it. But the main thing is you're writing it down. And then you can categorize, put it all together like, man, I didn't realize I went to this place 8 times. That's crazy. That's too much. I shouldn't be doing that. Right? Or I would rather be spending that money on going to this place twice instead of that place 4 times. You know what I mean? And then you're going to do this for it'll probably take you almost a full year to do your budget the first time, because you might have payments that aren't but every 6 months. It won't come until May. Anyway. You're a good sport, Tiger. Good luck. Hey, thanks, Alien. You have children? I have 4 children. So you started just before 2008 crisis. What was your reaction to the market fall? I fortunately didn't have enough money for it to drastically affect me personally. I did see how it was affecting the world. So my reaction at that time after everything crashed was to buy a property with my brother. that is what I did. So my reaction was to buy low on things. So if you want more of a humanistic, I thought it was terrible what happened to a lot of people. A lot of people got financially wrecked. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What financial advice would you give humans if there were an AI war? Asking for, well, data purposes. I do have 4 children. Hey, me and my wife would have more. We think we might be good. We've known we wanted to have 4 very early on. But we might have more. Hey, Allie, my advice wouldn't necessarily change in that. Yo, Allie Ferge, or Justin Ferge. Allie, thank you so much for the YouTube sub. Worst buy ever. Okay. It didn't hurt me because I could afford it, but I went from making like $7.75 an hour to making like, I don't know, let's just say it was $14, $16 an hour. It felt like I got rich, right? And the very first thing I did was go and buy a brand new car. A brand new car. And my cash flow, I didn't like realize it at the time, but I was doing very little saving. I did not have a budget, but I did not have extra money all the time because I was spending it there. Yo, what's up, Grim D Hollow? Hey, how did you find the stream, if you don't mind me asking? I appreciate you being here. I'm a free financial advisor. I'm a certified financial planner professional, which means I'm a fiduciary financial advisor. I have to do what's in your best interest. I have no products or classes to sell you. I worked at Vanguard for over 13 years, and I quit my job to change the world and help millions of people achieve financial literacy. That was really long-winded, and I apologize, everybody. I'm constantly in different states, and the majority of my money is spent at truck stops or bills and subscriptions on auto pay. Prices of truck stops are different in every state. Yeah, but at some point, big homie, you'll average it. You'll get to a travel budget that you spend X amount per month. And if you want, you just budget for the most expensive month. And then if you have extra money at the end of the month, you can do something with it. You know what I mean? All right. So yeah, the car put me in a bad spot. Seems like you're good at both financial and family planning. Yeah, I'll take that. How many streams have you diversified your money in? What ratio? Ratio? I don't know. I have real estate. I have stock and all that sort of stuff. But my cash flow does not come from many sources. It's, I don't know if you want to count streaming as one or all the income sources that are eventually possible through this route. Right, because then it would be Twitch, YouTube, Patreon. That's probably it. And then merchandise, anything like that. You know what I mean? All right. It didn't fall. It corrected to its actual value. And yes, things are very overvalued now. This problem will never be solved for long. 300 trillion debt supply, 104 trillion in total supply worldwide. Wait, did I miss something? What did I miss, Camo? What did I miss? I'm good with that stuff. I know why I spend the way I do. A Discord, I just click on who's live, check in. Hey, all right. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Grim. But you may know people who need help with their finances. And now you know I'm a credentialed financial advisor here to help. How should one allocate and hold assets across multiple countries to optimize after-tax returns, hedge currency risk, and stay compliant with all U.S. and foreign tax laws? This is a tax question, my brother. You would have to work with a tax advisor to make sure you are good with all of that. I'm not even going to step into that realm. But definitely, I have a buddy who has a property down in Mexico. He's compliant with everything, but he uses a tax advisor. How do you feel about the current projection that AI could take over nearly all stock trading by 2035? Do you see that as progress or a red flag for the markets? When it takes over all trading, I don't even know how to word this. That means you got rid of the people who just enjoy doing it. They're just not doing it anymore. And if that generation dies out, sure. But otherwise, that I just don't think that's even possible. Virtuals don't hold more than 200K in cash. FDIC won't help you if it fails. So you can have different accounts at different places with different amounts of FDIC insurance, no? Currency hedges, huh? Reminds me of someone. Yeah. Where is, what was his name? Jacob? No, it wasn't Jacob. Jason? Goth mommy or divorce mommy? Which one should I go for? Thanks. Yikes! You look like a wise man with that godly beard. It is a long beard. Here, we'll do a little bit of this too. You can see it in my YouTube videos as well. But I appreciate that. Watch Zones, hello again. There's 300 trillion in debt worldwide. The total money supply worldwide is 140 trillion. This creates losers and a few winners. It's what's ruining the middle class. There's a lot of things ruining the middle class. We don't create anything in America. That will. Yo, what's up, Soto? That is hurting the middle class. I'm planning on selling everything and everyone I know and love and putting it all on 42 red. What car should I buy after I win? Sayok, I refuse to answer this. Bless you, Luffy. ¿Tú hablas español? No. Muy poquito, muy poquito. Mi esposa es mexicana. Y mi suegro y suegra. AI investing for me is how I would end up broke in a year. Very possible. Or all it does is buy low and sell high without guessing at the market. You know? Bro, I was painting a wizard, but I accidentally drawn you. That's interesting, Watch Zone. Put it on the internet. Me as a wizard. Do you ever use any AI tools for stock or market evaluations? I do not. Curious how much you trust the data versus your own intuition. I don't trust either, Allie. I don't trust either. Hey, ChatGPT. Buy low and sell high. You know what I actually think AI would eventually do? It would trade at the price per earnings. Right? It wouldn't allow you to do anything other than price per earnings. You're just going to buy it at the value it is. Or you're going to buy it for below that. Because that's the only thing that is actually real. You know what I mean? I'm just pulling your leg. I typed the most complicated question for financial advisor in ChatGPT. It's supposed to be a joke. Bad one, obviously. You are awesome. Keep going. Love your work. You were trying to mess with me, Borchels? That's not cool, brother. Yo, Clanker live stream. This has been a banger live stream. My man just tried to troll me with ChatGPT, and I think it went pretty good. You know what I mean? Do you regret sacrificing your wants or needs over investing? I don't do that, Rom. I don't do that. You budget. The one thing about me, though, I'm very blessed. I don't want for anything. Like, my phone is over 5 years old. I have an iPhone SE. It's a little tiny thing, and I don't really like it because I prefer the big phones. I had the iPhone 6 before that. I would have never gotten rid of that. Big phone. It was awesome. And now I have this little tiny thing. But I'll never get rid of this either. So I'm built different. So your question is different for me than it is for someone else. I don't ever sacrifice my needs, and I don't really have much I want. What's your views on recent Trump's tariffs decisions? Do these really make shrugs America great again? See, the problem is this topic is connected to Trump, and I have a problem with it. But reciprocal tariffs should have been the norm forever. Punitive tariffs should absolutely be used. I don't really understand why this is complicated or controversial. If another company is going to charge you 30% to do business with them, why would you not charge them the same 30%? Why? It makes no sense to me. Should people sacrifice from time to time for a great investment opportunity? Of course, a great one in their own eyes or social media eyes. It depends. Is the juice worth the squeeze? I think people don't take failure, or not even failure meaning losing money, but failure as in you didn't even keep up with the market, as a potential. And they get real excited for something. You know what I mean? So, yeah. That one's tough to answer. It all depends on the person, right? Thank you for being so kind. Do you mind if I screen clip and give you credit? I'll be back again soon. Sure. Let's give that a try. Am I going to come across looking bad, Allie? I feel like my personality didn't hit right. I don't know. But you cannot make it seem like I said things I didn't. Yeah. I respect your boundaries. Yeah, it's tough to really, man, these ban evaders come in twice. I don't think any of you saw that, but man, they just spammed on Twitch. Whoops. All right, get my chats back up. 1 second here. Boom. But yeah, it's hard to talk economical things or even political things without someone trying to say like you're a side or something. Like it's weird. It's weird. Even that isn't really real. If the underlying asset doesn't use GAAP in its valuations, the clankers might be aware of that, but I highly doubt they'll converge to a common valuations model. I don't know. Isn't that kind of what AI is trying to do? Hey, you're welcome, Allie. I hope it's fun. Did I answer your full question, Borchels? Okay. So Borchels, this chat is so proactive. I can't even imagine when 50 plus people come to the chat. It'll take you 2 days to cover all the questions. I have only had, I think, 19 people in here at one time asking questions. I did have a wild experience on TT, you know what I'm saying? On the talk. That one was wild. But at that point, you just try to answer as many as you can. It's so hard to read them in order at some point. But that means we're helping a lot of people. You know what I mean? Twitch chat, YouTube chat, IG chat. I don't really know how to answer this. So far, you did answer all my questions fully. I appreciate it, brother. I got you. Trying to change the world. If you got value out of it, tell someone else who needs help. You know what I mean? Yo, what's up, Infinity Gamer? Did you see the live movie from 1986? It's very insightful. Saw it on YouTube for free yesterday. Oh, They Live? Oh, They Live. No, I haven't. What's it about? I'm young and we're alike mentally, but something in the back of my mind is watching all social media that I'm missing out on trendy stuff. Who cares? Who cares about trendy stuff? Like, it's so weird to think about that social media sort of makes the world feel small. But there's literally billions of people doing things you're not doing right now. And that's okay. Big homie. Oh, man. I appreciate you, brother. But there's literally, what does trendy mean? There's 8 billion people on this planet. If 1 million people are doing something, that's insignificant. Insignificant. Who cares about trends? If 20 million people are doing something, it's insignificant. Find your meaning and purpose in life. Just do you, man. Infinite Gamer, my day is going wonderfully. How is your day going? These days, the influencers are promoting the concept of spend money on traveling because you only live once. Uh, so, okay. I don't have a problem with it if it's budgeted for. I think where the problem is they are encouraging being irresponsible. And that's it. I'm going to answer this one right now. No, you should not do gambling. Hello, Mr. Clean. Yes, let's go. Yuli. Big homie. Ooh, which part, Grimdy Hollow? Let's see here. Ooh, Yoda, you want to become a truck driver? Hey, join the... Oh, man, I don't want to say the other site. But my man Big Homie is a truck driver. Maybe he can talk to you about it. Okay, so Suhas, to finish your question, is that they're doing it irresponsibly. That's my main problem with it. Yes, you can travel, but you should budget for it. Don't put yourself in a bad financial situation because you want to look at some waterfalls somewhere in the world. Like, who cares? You're not a different person because you saw waterfalls somewhere. Oh, look at these pink trees. Like, cool, bro. Now you owe $6,000 for that? Nice. Anyway, we waste a lot of money on things that we don't need that we think we need. So if you're going to travel, budget for it. Man, I just went hard in the paint for that one. What's your thoughts on the different platforms' audiences anyway? We won't be offended. Hey, so I think YouTube is clearly doing something by forcing, I don't know, at least the portrait mode into people's algorithms. In Twitch, I feel like I could sit here all day and not a single person new will come into my chat. Because someone just has to like find me randomly. You know what I mean? And I do a lot of social media. The Twitch thing is on there. Like if people are really doing it. So, ooh, Big Homie is driving right now. And they probably have a sponsor paying for the trip. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's see here. Where were we? I want to become a truck driver. We already did that. Oh, okay. So, answering... YouTube has been fun. There's been like 400 plus people coming into the portrait stream every day I do it. And that is very meaningful to me. Like, I know some of these questions are from trolls and stuff, but I do hope that we're actually helping people here, you know? In the next approximate 5 years, will be overall smarter to gamble with your money in private equity firms or cryptocurrency. Yikes, that is way too big of a gamble. 5 years, so many things could happen. Where's quantum computing going to be in 5 years? Who knows? Private equity, will they be using AI at that point, or will they be people who think they have an edge? Where will cryptocurrency be in 5 years? Will there be different technologies? Stuff like that. What's good, Mr. Clean? Telemetry, what's going on? Camo, a drifter discovers sunglasses revealing hidden messages and aliens controlling humanity through consumerism. They Live warns against blind obedience, media control, and societal manipulation. There's a reason I haven't heard about this movie then, Camo. How do you know the best stock to invest? Yoda, this is a great question. I personally don't invest. I have one stock. I own one stock, and it's a joke stock. It's not to make money. So I don't even want to talk about it. But if you have to know, it's WTO. Don't buy it. It is... I have lost like 90% on it, and I did it on... I don't want to say I did it on purpose. It was either going to go crazy or bomb, and it bombed. Anyway, it's for the thing. I don't buy individual stocks. I buy the whole market. So I don't pretend to know what the best stocks are going to be to buy. I don't pretend I'm going to be able to find the needle in the haystack. I just buy the whole haystack. Do you have a wife? Telemetry. I do. And 4 children. I didn't know the Yoda would have thought of investing. Do or do not. There is no try. Hey, I feel like that was pretty good. Was that pretty good? Come on. All right, Keenan. I need some advice. Let's go. I just bought a new house and I would like to get another one as investment to rent it out. How soon are you talking about, Keenan? So, when I was at Vanguard, as an actual advisor, I worked with people with 500 to 500,000, like actually giving advice. As a manager, I worked with high net worth people. So uh, it wasn't a hard ceiling, but we'll say 5 million. We'll say 5 million is what we planned for, people with 5 million in assets. And when I was not an advisor, I worked with ultra high net worth people. I literally saw accounts with billions and hundreds of millions. That was pretty cool to see. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So, what type of fun stories would you like to know? Because things that are fun to me might not be fun to you. Like I would never tell their names, but I didn't really talk to anybody that would be famous from a pop culture thing. Right? I talked to people that were famous in the industry, things like that. But what is a story that you think would be cool to hear? And I'll say something. How do you know if it will work? What would I need? Keenan, it's impossible to know it will. In the W impression. Thank you. There is okay. I hate to say this, Keenan. There is no way to know it'll work. There's no way. It's impossible. If you're trying to buy in 1 year, you're going to need probably a lot for a down payment or to prove credit worthiness for sure. You know what I mean? This is too broad. I don't think I can answer this question as fully with what you've given me so far. Give me more specific questions and let me help you there because this is a big question. As your financial well-being, how about health and relationships? Is it all good because of this attitude? Yeah. I don't want to pretend that I have a great relationship with everyone, but I don't walk around with like disdain for anybody. You know what I mean? I think there is a mentality about it. When your finances are set, life is a lot easier when you have peace of mind there. So, yeah. Now, I'm also, to be straight, no, you know what? Let me say no. I'm not where I want to be health-wise. I take that back. I take it back. But we're working towards it. We're working towards it. Tell the story of the client that was most difficult to deal with in your practice. And of course, because of privacy purpose, let us know their full name. Yeah, so I never really, like, there's a generic story. A guy, there are other stories like this that are much more dramatic than mine. But people who would refuse to get off the phone unless they spoke to somebody that's impossible to speak to. There was one guy, we were having a conversation about whether he should put everything into gold or stay invested in the stock market. You know what I mean? So we had this conversation, and I eventually got it out of him that he thought, this was back in 2020, but he thought within 5 years the entire world's financial and stock markets and the way the world was working was going to come crumbling down. And he wanted to have gold in case that happened because he was sure of it. Just chatting, you would be near the bottom hard for discovery. Yeah, exactly. It would be so hard here on Twitch. You just die on Twitch. So then when I finally got him to admit that, we went over a new reality. I'm like, hey man, let's just say that actually happens and the whole world collapses. Do you really think you're going to be safe with, 10 pounds of gold in your house? Like, do you think you're going to be able to just like walk around the world with 10 pounds of gold, dishing it out, and people aren't going to take it from you? And I don't know. Once we had like a realistic conversation, he was like, oh, so it was like, hey man, if you really think that's going to happen, buy what you're comfortable with, but still be diversified. All right, fun stories like, I don't know, someone spending millions on entertainment in one night, doing something or being shady, anything that sticks out to you. Nothing shady. I think one of the sad stories, a guy that I was working with, this is before I was an advisor, so but he traded down his account by hundreds of thousands of dollars because he thought he could time the market. You know what I mean? And that's tough. Also, what's an insight on high net worth individual spending habits that you base your years of advising? There are no rules for people's spending habits. You generally tend to see a higher level of discipline with people who have a higher net worth or building a business because they had to be successful. But even then, you'll get people who are irresponsible with their money and waste a lot of it. You know what I mean? Queen, what's your channel about? I'm trying to help millions of people achieve financial literacy. I'm a free financial advisor. I'm a certified financial planner professional, which means I'm a fiduciary. I have to do what's in your best interest. So I put out videos that are supposed to be entertaining, personal finance, and I do live streams to answer questions where people are. If rent was less than $1,000 a month, what is the normal minimum money to survive per year? It's like 20, 30K from what I see. I mean, it all depends on what your expenses are, right? If you don't have a car, if you can walk everywhere, you can live off of probably, I don't know. I don't even want to throw a dollar amount of money per day for food. You know, you got laundry, utilities, things like that. It all depends on where you live. When did you give that advice to that gold guy? 2015. So it wasn't about the rate of performance. That's not why he wanted the gold. It had nothing to do with that. He wanted it purely in case the world collapsed. One life advice to everyone out here, please. One life advice. Don't worry about dating. I do think finding your life partner is probably the best thing that can happen to you if it's the right person. I think finding that person is amazing, but I think you shouldn't be looking for it. I think a lot of people are in relationships with people who are not that person, and they're just wasting time when they should just be focusing on themselves and doing them. But for some reason, we don't like being alone. So get comfortable with being alone. How about that? It's okay to be alone. All right, Bitcoin, I have a question. Hit me. What is the most common practice that bankrupt individuals? Debt spending. Right, I would bet that there is medical and things like that in there, but debt spending. Buying things that you can't actually afford. My man, Bincon, you get one. You get one. But that's the last one, Bincon. Keep it appropriate in chat, brother. Was it only advising us based clients? Like people in the States? Yes. Yes, it was. So we were managing people's portfolios. So it wasn't just general conversations like this. It was, hey, let me manage your portfolio. So that, yeah, it's quite possible, Ram. So let's take a look at gold right now. Pew, 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 pew. Gold. Let's look at, oh, okay, I can't do 5 years on this market watch. Fine. Let's go to Yahoo Finance. He wanted gold only because he's looked at what our money was backed by. He saw an employer with no clothes. Yeah, he just wanted to, in case the world ended. That's literally it. He didn't care about the performance of it. There we go. Gold. Well, let's take a look at the 5 year. So it looks like 5 years ago, it's a little more than doubled. Let's just call it 1,800 5 years ago. You have kissable eye sockets. All right. I eat notebook paper. Okay. Dave Ramsey says, with a fully funded emergency fund, emergencies become inconveniences. Yeah, that's actually really good. I can't steal that for obvious reasons, but I like it. It's a very succinct way of saying it. Did you ever make a big mistake while managing a portfolio? Never. Never, Yuli. We didn't take chances. That's not what investing was about at Vanguard, and that's not how I invest. We didn't invest in a way that you could lose everything. We didn't just gamble on things. We always took a long-term approach. You know what I mean? Hey, Jesus does love you, Layla. I know the whole fiduciary responsibilities and SEC and stuff, but were you ever pressured to do things against the client's interest? No. Honestly, I will probably never, ever have, even if, let's just say there were things that I maybe would do different or wasn't fond of. And I'm not even going to go that far, but let's just say there were. I don't know that I'll ever say them because I never once had to sacrifice my moral character working at Vanguard. Never. Every day, my sole responsibility was to do what was in the best interest of the client. Like, that was it. That's a really cool place. That's a really cool place to work. Really cool. And that's how I am now. Being a fiduciary is the coolest thing. How was your performance as an advisor evaluated? Surely not just return, right? So, I think it's okay to talk about this. So we had different metrics. There were enrollment rates, like of the clients you spoke to, how many were you enrolling? What percentage? There was in high net worth retention rate. How many of them you're retaining? Different things like making it a more personable interaction by having like a video conference. Making sure the tools did not cost anything, but making sure clients understood the tools available to them within the service. Right, everything was just included. If you were in the service, you had access to this stuff, so I was letting them know. But things like that, I'm sure there are things I'm missing. I haven't been a manager in about a year and a half now. Hey, Rom. If you guys liked it, I would love it. I think that means they push it in the algorithm. You know what I mean? Since you asked, it always helps, right? I'm gonna be honest. This is a super conflicting thing being free advice guy. I want to help people with no expectations. I'm here to help you with your money with zero expectations. But the reality is I only have a certain amount of years to do this. So if there isn't I'm just a donation-based advisor. If I don't build the community I need, then free advice guy has to die. Right? So that's the likes. At some point, I do have to grow. At some point, I have to help more and more people. We want to help millions. And to do that, people are going to have to like stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be this open, but we are confused as to why our videos don't seem to be being pushed by YouTube. Or that are they really that bad that we need to change it and do something different? You know what I mean? Well, hey, I appreciate. Wait, let's see here. Since you asked, karma button hit. Hey, thanks, troll. What's ZZ? Oh man, my man's coming in hard. ZZ bottom. That's not cool, bro. So one of the cool things about streaming, Rom, is even if people don't know, when other people ask questions, the beauty of streaming and the reason I hope this takes off is everyone can learn from each other. You know what I mean? 37, no mortgage. My wife paid most for the house, and I used to have no savings. Run my own recruit, want business. All right, I don't know how to respond to that, James. You know Brazil? I do not know Brazil. A lot of junk channels, mainly entertainment versus actual value. You just talked about this briefly on another channel. Interesting. Yep, I'm just trying to do value. So my original plan was to be live for 8 hours per day. And now I can really only do 4 because these conversations, right? There's a lot of things I end up saying or I repeat. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, it's a lot of conversations. There's a lot of information to take in, to respond to, and all that. So, yeah, it's tough. Were you also responsible for cold outreach, sourcing the clients, or just retaining? Why did some clients leave, BlackRock or Vanguard? I'm always going to be biased to Vanguard. I worked there for 13 years, but I actually don't know any negatives about BlackRock or really anything about BlackRock in general. Were you also responsible? Oh, so no, we did no cold calling. The only calls that advisors had were appointments set up by clients. They wanted to talk. There was zero cold calling. There was zero sourcing. Everything, clients got set up. That was it. But we did have to enroll them. And why did some clients leave? It was a very high retention rate, but you'd see like they wanted to have somebody locally where they could walk into the office. What else? That my family member knows this guy and really trusts him. He's a family friend. Even though it had nothing to do with Vanguard, if the stock market's tanked, people would leave, stuff like that. Garage Guto says, Brazil is a good place to invest. 50% year in an investment, low risk. No. Incorrect. There is no such thing as 15% low risk. No. Hey, thanks, big homie. I appreciate you. YouTube has to be one of the hardest platforms to grow on. It feels like it, Yuli. But like with this much content, also being about finance, also having interviews, I'm not going to lie, I expected certain videos to, I don't know, find like aren't there people who like that sort of stuff? How have we not found any of them? Right? So anyway, let's see here. Just wanted to say hello and thanks for all you do for others. Hey, Medium, thank you. You should do like 4 like you're doing, or maybe even 2 hours with solid topics, sticking to them and using the other time to try and get on similar channels and help each other grow. I would love to help other people grow, but or help me grow, help other people grow, but I'm small right now. I'm trying to build something before reaching out, because I have people, other streamers I'd love to reach out to, but it really just feels like I'm clout chasing if I do it too early, you know what I mean? If I'm like, hey, Zekin, he's like, bro, you have this many viewers, I have thousands, clout chasing. And they're sort of right, you know what I mean? Real estate pay 7 to 10% a year. 2 in Brazil, and stock 6 to 12%. My man, link these results. Link these results. I don't know that that's true. But yeah, I stream in one other place. So right now I'm live on Twitch, Instagram, YouTube Portrait, YouTube Landscape, and Kick. And then later today, I will do some more time on the last site, The Talk. Hey, later, troll. Let's see here. BlackRock. What did Chris do? Leave him alone. He had enough humiliation from Will Smith. All right. I do not back up what Garage says. Sorry, word of my question. For a guy with no mortgage, how should I approach saving for my retirement at 37? I need to grow my headhunting business, main source of income. I live in Mexico, originally UK. So is headhunting recruiting? I don't know all of the account types that you have available, James, but a lot of it, essentially, you have to go backwards first. Where do you want to retire? How much is it going to cost you per year to live where you want to retire? How much is it going to cost you to move to that place when you retire? From there, you'd have to figure out the nest egg that you need to make that happen. And that's a little bit different than most people who are just kind of going from town to town where they're from. Right? So you have to understand the laws and the rules of the country that you come from, or I'm sorry, where you want to end up, as well as the country you live in, to understand how transferring money back and forth will work. So there's a lot to factor in there. It's not really like a simple answer, James. How many countries could switch to digital money in the next 5 to 10 years? You said nothing would surprise you. So how many could? I mean, could. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to say a handful. What is it? 10, over under 10? What'd you say in the next 5 to 10 years? Over under 10? Yeah, I think that's what we say. It takes time with good graphics and consistency, and hot topics is all you need. Yeah, I'm trying to do something different. Ram, listen, I think your idea is great, but all I really want to do is be here to answer people's questions. Right now I answer the troll questions and all that sort of stuff, but there will be a point. All I want to do is help people and answer their questions where they are. That's it. And all the other stuff. Like, people are like, oh, you should do reaction videos on Ramsey or Caleb Hammer. I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything like that. You know what I mean? But James, a good starting point, you got to figure out, again, for your life, if it's a good amount or not. But I would tell people living the normal life, they need to be saving at least 20%. Is for recruiting. Want to retire here in Mexico City. Okay. Very interesting. Are you going to be able to own land there? Like, are you able to start building a family dynasty? Right? Because if you're going to retire there and live there, is your wife Mexican? Is your family Mexican? You know what I mean? That's a different story, right? Are you about to build Mexican roots? Like, raise your family there? Or is your family going to visit you in Mexico after you retire? Yeah, she's Mexican. My kids too. Hey, me too, James. Me too. Not Mexican citizens, though, but they are Mexican. My wife became, or I'm sorry, my suegra became a citizen, I think, when she was young, 4, 7, something like that. I forgot the exact time. So, it's very interesting. So if you're truly building roots there, man, you think about things a little bit differently, right? You're trying to buy generational land, if I'm you. Maybe I'm wrong. But if I'm actually doing it in Mexico, I'm trying to build something, man. They are going to have the James family. People are going to know the James family estates if I'm moving from America to Mexico. Maybe you don't feel that way, and that's okay. But either way, the basics is make sure you're saving enough there, and then go. Are you talking to me, Ram? Arizona. Remember, dollar... Wait, I missed something here. Speaking of CBD, how do you find PBD obnoxious and scammy also? I refuse to comment on anybody. I used to listen to PBD a lot. With my life now and, different things, I have not listened to nearly as much. But if there's a good clip here or there, I'll still watch it, Love the red text and red box eye catchers for full display. Hey, let's go. Yes, it's recruiting. Okay, I already read that. Remember, dollar is 4 times the real. The power is investment. 5 times more than me. I didn't fully follow that, Garage, but it sounds like you think investing is better than holding cash. CBDC, a cashless society is an enslaved society, programmable, survivable. Yeah, you don't have control over your money anymore. You are not the ultimate controller of your money. Whew. All right, we just rattled through all those questions. We are fully caught up now. Let's go. Do you think de-dollarization is going to happen? Well, with an open-ended timeline, yes. In the near future, I'm less confident. In the medium-term future, I'm still not very confident. But in a forever timeline, yes. Have you considered it as a risk factor in your investing journey? Sort of. I own assets from all over the world, right? It's mostly stocks and bonds, but it will still, those international companies specifically, will end up being worth a lot of US dollars to buy. So I wouldn't say it's a heavy risk that I am prepared for. My risk mitigation is minimal, but I do have some. How much percent of your portfolio do you have abroad? Uh, I I haven't confirmed it in a while, but I would bet around 30. Hang on one second. I would bet around 30. Brenda's got a baby. No, what song are you talking about, big homie? I'm not sure. But sorry, Ron, it'll be about 30. Give me one second. I'll answer this in a second. I thought I heard something. Brenda's got a baby, but Brenda's barely got a brain. The girl can hardly spell her name. All right, so Rom, yeah, I don't tell, I don't. That's not a blanket general amount. I think you should have. Uh, I don't know what the world cap is right now. You're pretty cool. I want to live like you, free. This might not be the time for it, man, but Jesus gives you freedom. More freedom than anything. Money is just a tool, but Jesus is key. What is the best advice you can give to 20-year-old guy for people who are feeling lost in life? You should educate yourself with skills and knowledge that interests you, but ultimately, you need to figure out what you're good at. If you don't know what that is, go do anything. Go take a 6-week woodworking course. Go ask a mechanic if you could sit in. If you could do basic work. Well, that song was based on a true story and a guy making a documentary about Tupac reunited Brenda and the baby. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. I didn't know that that was a true story. But figure out where else are you live. I'm live on Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Second YouTube, and Kick. YouTube's popping off today, though. It's generally my, like, friends, right? Big homie, Yuli. That's what the Twitch is. I don't know how to get people onto the Twitch. That's where, like, YouTube has been a great experience. They force people. Kick, dead. Instagram, kind of dead. YouTube, they push people to you, and it's your job to stick them, and that's what this banner is for. I'm going to get a physical one behind me eventually. I started with 600 and have turned into 20K. What should I do to continue trading or what? I am having a really hard time getting over 25,000. It's almost a mental break type thing. So trading is a certain mindset, man. I don't have it in me to trade. When I buy something, it's because I think it's going to be worth a lot more 30 years from now. You know what I mean? Wait, and soft. And soft what? Yeah, so you gotta. It sounds like you've done a lot, man. Going from 600 to 25,000. That's really good. Use green screen. All right. How can I find a fun hobby if I tried everything? I've done everything from glass blowing to skiing to homesteading with goats, fruits, and it feels pointless after a while. That just means you haven't found what you really like. Just keep going, man. You'll find it. Have you tried surfing? Have you tried hiking? Have you tried, right? Like, there's so many things, man. You can do so many things, Kirby. Just keep going. Oh, and Soft. Soft's here the most. Soft has, I think, the most epic watch streak. Wiz is here a lot too. Free Advice Girl comes in. And then it's like random people who are like, I gamed with you a year and a half ago. What's up? Hop back in because I had a quick question. I know nothing about advisory biz, but I assume you have certain products like a ESG product. Would a client have to say the right magic words to be considered? I do not have any products. So yeah, where is Wiz? I miss him. So I don't have any products, man. ESG, if your clients are generally pretty upfront about wanting to invest in ESGs or the companies that they think are better or less, more green, right? So that generally comes up in a conversation. Advisors will figure that out. How do you grow such a beard? Sacrifices had to be made, gamer. Sacrifices had to be made. He is mega bonking. Wiz the goat mega bonker. Wiz would rather, on a night where he wants to game with friends, Wiz would rather play Mega Bonk than zombies with me. There's got to be something about Mega Bonk. I have no debt or anything, and the mindset of trading is wearing out my mental, and now I'm trying to figure out how I can take this money and turn a profit like the returns I have made in the market. I mean, you're taking risks, man. To go from 600 to 20K is quite impressive, right? Especially over a shorter amount of time. So to make that kind of return is kind of unrealistic. But to do it, you'd have to invest in really risky things. What percent is your emergency fund? It's 12 months of basic living expenses. So after you've done your budget and you figured out what your basic living expenses are, it's 12 months of that. Just invested in Palantir and Nvidia. That's okay. So when people invest in individual stocks, you're taking risks on, right? You are opening up your upside potential. You are opening up your downside potential, right? That's what you're doing by diversifying concentrating your portfolio. You're just taking on more risk, right? And that can be okay. If you understand the risk you're taking on by buying individual stocks, then that can be okay, right? But for me, I own Palantir and Nvidia as well, but I own every publicly traded stock in the world. Do you have any advice for me starting a business? So I don't want to pretend to be successful yet. I make like $80 a month as free advice guy. But the one thing that makes this business even feasible in the first place, Stocks and Stacks, is we have very low overhead. Very low overhead. That is the best way for me to start a business, is with very low overhead, make your monthly expenses super cheap so that you can keep cracking at your business for as long as you can to make it successful. Is crypto still worth it? This is a mindset thing, Hassan. If you believe in crypto, some of these crypto bros think it's going to go to 20 or 30 million a coin. And it might. So if it goes to 20 or 30 million a coin, yes. If it crashes to zero, no. It's impossible to know, man. You have to line up your risk tolerance with your investments. Were your clients individuals? Yes. No firms or family offices? Correct. I know I've been asking a lot of questions nearing NDA territory. These aren't NDA territory. None of these. I think I'm allowed to talk about anything I do because I would put it on, LinkedIn, right? I would. None of this stuff is private. Um, and yeah, I'm okay. If I feel uncomfortable with it, I'll say it, and hopefully Vanguard doesn't sue me. But yeah, I was just individual clients. I know that Vanguard has the ability to help family offices and firms and things like that, but that's not what I did. What's your PC setup? Do you mean my specs, or what do you mean by my PC setup? Specs. All right. I have a GeForce. I have a 4070 Super, a Ryzen 7800X, 64 gigs of RAM, uh, a Wooten keyboard, and a G Pro Superlight. And then I don't know what this monitor is, but it's an LG. It's 165 hertz. It's 32 inches from corner to corner. It is pretty good. It's funny. I started off on a desk that was 30 inches wide, and I put my second monitor on a stack of boxes. I wish we would have taken a picture of it. Vanguard is synonymous with low cost and indexing. Did they ever do sophisticated trades for their high net worth clients? Um, so there are active funds. I know they. So I've been gone a year and a half. I know they were looking into direct indexing, things like that. Um, but I don't know of any. Uh, well, I guess it depends on what our definition of sophisticated is. For tax loss harvesting, I would bet that there were many transactions made. But for sophisticated, like individual stock trades, I don't know of any, and probably not. Hold on one sec, guys. Okay. I might need to check this. All right. Have you made any big losses in bad investments when you're learning? Yeah. It wasn't a bad loss, but I actually have a clip on this. But I invested in something called the Precious Metals and Mining Fund. At its all time high was at $48 a share. I bought it at $8 a share, thinking, man, if this thing only goes back up to half of its all time high, I'm going to triple my money. And it never did that. It actually got absorbed into another fund. So I didn't lose money on it, but the gains I made, I think I ended up making 50% on it over however long. Whereas if I would have just invested in like the total stock market at the same time, I would have like tripled my money. So that's something I learned. Like, hey, you have no idea what's going to happen in the market. Just because you think you're smart doesn't mean you are. How do I stop spending money on junk foods? Buy real food. Get it in your house. What do I do for fun? I like playing video games. Um, I like hanging out with friends. I probably shouldn't say this on stream, but I do like going out smoking cigars on occasion. Um, I haven't been to the movies in a while. Really, I just hang out with my family. I don't know that there's like a specific activity I like to do or things I like to do. That's kind of weird. But I do like gaming. All right, but Tenzin, if you can just buy the food at home, you got to have discipline. So are you asking me how to get discipline? Make it through 1 minute at a time, one decision at a time. All you have to get through, all you have to get past is that next decision. It's not about 6 months from now. It's about 60 seconds from now. The next time you have that craving, no. 60 seconds at a time. I don't know what that is, Nathan. What were your early and mid 20s like? What were you up to? Early and mid 20s. That's when I got my first real job. I worked at University of Phoenix at that time. Enrollment advisor at University of Phoenix. Yeah. What's your expected return on portfolio? I wouldn't say I have an expected ROM. Or what I can tell you is I expect to get what the market gives. If I were to bet, I feel safe saying probably for the next 30 years, at least a 7% return. We'll say 7.2. But, there's no guarantee. So I don't have an expectation on returns. Oh, hang on one sec. Oh man, if I go out there, there's a chance my daughter is not going to let me come back here. I got to get it at least 4 more minutes for the algorithm. Hang on one second. You have 7% bond rates right now, 7% treasuries in India. Yeah, so if I were getting a risk-free rate of 7, I would probably expect's not the right term. Hope for 10. Really, I guess you probably want 5% above the risk-free rate, but 10 I feel pretty okay with. So what happens when you own stock in a company and they get bought out? A lot of the time the stock gets repurposed. So I owned, my grandfather gave me 10 shares of Bell Atlantic when I was a kid. And I watched how that got spun into Verizon. And then I got more shares spun off into Frontier. So they just generally get absorbed and then you get issued proportionate shares on how they value it. You'd mentioned you'd help clients learn Vanguard's toolings. What do you think was the next feature they had? A neat feature they had? You manage your personal portfolio? Yes, I do manage my own portfolio. Man, a neat feature. It's kind of different for everybody in between, and it probably seems real basic, but tax loss harvesting is an actual tool with a name that people can look up. But honestly, I think one of the best things Vanguard does is asset location and explaining it to clients and why it matters to them. I think asset location is a highly undervalued and understood or known about tool to help you increase your after-tax returns. I really want to evolve with a bald guy from an unkempt beard. It's kempt, bro. It's kempt. What do you mean? It's not like this, We can make it unkempt. It's kempt, bro. It's kempt. It's soft. It's shiny. What do you mean? Oh, let's get a brush through it though. All right. What is the best way to give someone? Yikes! Not going there. How much is your personal portfolio? My wife and I have decided not to go over what our personal portfolio is. But what's another way we could talk about this? I did okay for myself. I was very smart and disciplined with my money. Yeah, the trolls did just wake up. I was very smart and disciplined with my money to be able to put me in a position to make $0 for years and not sacrifice our life or our ability to retire and all that sort of stuff. Cushmax. Cushmax. Yo, Richie. I appreciate the YouTube sub. Thank you. If anybody can tell me where that's from. Kushlash. 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 Yeesh. You listen to your wife? For sure I do. For sure I do. All right, guys. We have crossed the 2-hour mark, and I appreciate everyone very much. My Patreon is free. Please join the community. We do a community Q&A and market recap session on Saturdays. Do I plan to send them to top colleges? Okay, so the retirement answer, Ram, is trajectory. Base amount saved versus expected expenses in retirement. We're already on pace. So that's how. College is, I don't know how to word this. We plan to help our children. That's what I'll say. We plan to help our children. There is something to be said about learning how to go about life without your parents doing it for you. So I will let them do some of that, and I will help them where I can. But I want them to learn. I'm very thankful for the life I lived because it wasn't cookie cutter. It wasn't the easiest, but I learned a lot. Learned a lot through my life, and I'm very grateful for it. Very grateful for it. I hope that answers your question, Rom. You can be my friend, man. You could be my friend. I need to know if I should call you Nathan or man, though. Nice talking to you. Pretty insightful. Have a good day. Thanks, Rom. Is God real? I believe so, Alex. Has inflation hurt? Ooh, I have no idea. All right, I'm out of here, guys. I will be on TikTok in an hour. Join the Patreon. It's free. I love you. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Give me a second. It takes a second to close everything up here. We close. We tell you goodbye and have a great day.